It's the employee's lawyer here. Briefly, I want to talk about the EEOC investigation and these position statements that employers or their law firms write on their behalf. I'm going to say this, about somewhere between 50 and 90% of what they put in that position statement is bullshit. 50 to 90% of what they put in their position statement will be bullshit. They're going to include their policy, their anti-harassment policy, their anti-discrimination policy. They're going to include your work history. And then they're going to include a lot of stuff that has nothing really to do with your claims. Their whole objective is to distort and confuse the investigator. Okay? That's why I recommend that you have an attorney represent you throughout this process, actually before you complain. But if you don't have an attorney, representing you, one thing you should do in your response is don't even try to respond to everything that the employer or their law firm is saying. Because like I said, 50 to 90% of that is going to be bullshit. Okay? What you need to respond to is the facts that pertain to your claim, whether it's discrimination or retaliation. Okay? Highlight facts and evidence that support your claims. Okay? Don't focus on all the rest. All the rest will have you responding to like 10 or 12 different things that have nothing to do with your case. And these investigators, they're already overworked. All right? Your claim, your charge is one in a list of dozens, if not, 100 or so claims that they're investigating. All right. They don't have time to weed through all that. They're probably not going to call, all your witnesses if you respond to it at all. Me, myself, once I get their position statement, I don't really expect the EEOC to do much after that. We may go ahead and request a right to sue letter at that point. It depends on the lawyer, the law firm, but that information that they put in there, some of it will be useful. Some of it locks them in. And, when you go to trial, because you're more than likely going to have to file a lawsuit because the EEOC, more often than not, they're not going to find in your favor. They're not going to issue a cause finding against the company. They're going to say, hey, we can't determine. So, but the main thing is don't get frustrated by whatever they put in that position statement. All right. Use that against them. It's